Hi there, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. You all ready?
I think.
You'll
I believe so. I mean, hey, just do what I do.
be fine. It's a lot easier over Zoom than in person, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Good
I'm
evening.
sorry, I need to change my name. I'm Beth Raff. Hi.
Okay. Hi, Beth.
Hi,
Hi Beth, how
Anastasia.
you doing?
Good.
Seemed like it was a long day today. It's just Monday, it's crazy.
Monday. Monday.
Yeah.
Yep. But a
Well,
short
it's
work
just a
week.
short week, right? So that's good.
Hey there, friends.
Hello. Good evening.
I am going to, I'm going to leave that like that. Great. Um, mhm. Oh, interesting. I'm going to just pause. Let me hit record here. All right. So welcome everybody to our NJASL swap meet, The World in Words, creating book clubs in your school. I'm not even going to introduce myself. I'm going to introduce our wonderful host tonight. Kim Malloy-Chapman is going to be talking us through her version of how she went about getting some book clubs set up at her school. And then when we've got some time a little later, we can share some of our own thoughts and ideas. But I want to turn the floor right over to Kim. So Kim, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Awesome. Good evening, everyone. Excited about being able to share some information about whether you're thinking about creating a book club in your school. Just to give a little background of myself, I teach in the Jersey City Public, well, I'm the library media specialist at the Jersey City Public School System. I've taught in the classroom 16 years, so this is my third year as a library media specialist. This is also my third year doing my book club in my school. I started my book club when we came back from the pandemic, when the schools opened back up. It was something that I thought, the students would enjoy and they needed, more so to be able to socialize with other students, being that we were home on Zoom. We lost that social aspect. So I was trying to think of something that would bring our students back together to be able to get back into that socialization aspect. It was one of my goals for the school year, and my principal allowed me to do it. So we're going to dive right in. I thought about the title, The World in Words, because I always tell my students, when you are reading, you're in a different world. You put yourself where you are. What you're reading, you put yourself there, and that's how you get lost in your book. So I thought of that title, The World in Words. Going to the next slide, basically, in NJASL, this is a chance for us to meet as colleagues, to share information. Please feel free to give some ideas, or if you have a book club in your school, I'm always open to new things. Again, this is my third year, so it's still new, and I'm always fishing for new ideas. Or if I help in any way, if you have any questions, please feel free to stop me and just dive right in. We also have some blank presentations, formatted slides. You can add what you know or add some information that you think might be helpful in this swap meet on this evening. Moving right along. Okay, so reasons for starting a book club in your school. Basically, a great way to motivate the students to socialize, to get together, share their interests in various literary genres. we see students walking around the building day after day. We're not sure what they like. When they come into my library, I always ask them, what kind of books do you like? Or sometimes they'll tell me, oh, Miss Chapman, I like this and like that. You should get more of this, that, and the other. So it's a great way for students to get motivated to be able to talk about what they like to read. Right now, the big thing in my school is graphic novels. They're so into graphic novels and manga books. Like I'm ordering them like crazy. So and I didn't know that, I'm thinking fiction novels, picture books for the little ones, but to my surprise, they are really into graphic novels, and it's okay. I mean, I think back in the day we called them comic books, but they're called graphic novels now in manga, and this is what they're interested in. The motivation to want to open up a book, not just go online and listen to ebooks. And it also, it says my internet is unstable. Am I still with you guys? You guys hear me? Okay, great. All right, my internet is going in and out. I don't know what's going on. So second bullet, it's a great way of getting students motivated to read, of course, getting them talking about the books that they're reading, and have them share ideas and perspectives. What we usually do, we pick a book and we read the book on our own time. And then when we get together, we meet every other week. We get together and we discuss the book. A lot of them finish the book beforehand, or a lot of them are in different areas in the book, and we share ideas. And I tell them, it's a safe space. Your opinion is your opinion about the book. I like the book. I didn't like the book. Oh, the book is all right. What I didn't like, but be able to explain why you don't like the book, or what did you like about the book, or how does what character relates to you. So it's getting them to discuss, because as you guys know, our students don't like to discuss sometimes. They just sit there, yes, no, answer the question, and that's it. But it's really an opportunity to get them to open up and discuss how they're feeling about something in a safe space. And I tell them, no one has a wrong answer. No one has a wrong feeling about the book that we're reading, because I have read some books where, I didn't like the book, or like a certain character in the book, and that's okay, because that's your opinion. But we must respect the opinion of everyone in the room. Am I moving too fast? I'm gonna pause right here. Any questions or any thoughts? Okay. Just gonna back up a little bit. So this is my third year with the book club. My first year, I had a total of 15 students that signed up. 15 students, and I had to cut it off because it was my first year. I didn't want to bite off too much. My second year, I had so many students, I had to have two book clubs. I had a 3 through 5, and I had a 6 through 8 club. And we rotated every Friday. So it wasn't every other Friday. It now became every Friday after school, because so many students, the word went around, oh, Miss Chapman has a book club. It's fun. We eat snacks. We chat and chew. And you can be yourself. We can take our shoes off. We can sit on the rug and read. So the word got around where I ended up with 2 book clubs. Exhausting, yes, it was very exhausting, but I didn't want to let the kids down. So this year, we just have one, and we have it at a lunchtime period for grades 3 to 5. Right now, we just have one, but come the new year, we'll get another group, because we do have a waiting list. So it would give other students an opportunity to be a part of the book club. So I'm with this group from September up until January, and then come January, we'll start another group. So everybody gets a chance to be a part of the book club. Students can expand their literary horizons and discover many books that they might otherwise not read. You know, they come to the library and they browse through the books. Oh, I don't think I would ever read anything like that. But who knows? Maybe that was one of the books we chose and we dive into the book and come to find out they really love it. Oh my God. I was looking at the cover and I thought it was going to be boring, but it really is a good book. Or this book relates to me. I can make a connection with the character in this book. So I'm just trying to get them to expand their horizons. We're on the graphic novel now. Our next genre will be fiction. I would like to do poetry, realistic fiction, different genres. You know, I want to make sure they're well-rounded by the end of the school year with different books. So they just don't get used to graphic novels. That's all I want to read. I mean, that's fine if that's what they want to do. But in this book club, we're going to be well-rounded. I want you to be exposed to all kinds of literary genres. Students can share. Yes.
Sorry, I'm going to just tag in for a quick sec. Beth is
Sure.
wondering, is everyone reading the same book? And if so, where did you get the multiple copies?
Okay, so I get a allowance, you know, I get a budget. So I usually order from Scholastic. We have an account with Scholastic. But there's a great website, First Book. I don't know if you guys ever heard of First Book. First Book is awesome. I've been a member for the 3 years, and I get texts, literally get texts when they have bulk books in bulk. So I try to pick the books that they have in bulk. And most times you're just paying for the shipping and handling. You're not actually paying the book price. For example, I received I'm gonna say 30 books for shipping and handling was $10. So a total 30 copies for $10. You can't beat that. So First Book is a great website to become a member. It's free to become a member. They will text you when bulk copies come in of different genres of books, of literary works. And they let you know the newest books that's out. Of course, they cost a little bit more for shipping and handling, but most times if you spend over $25, the shipping, if you spend over $25, the shipping and handling is free. So firstbook.org is good. That's a great website. And I'll put it in the chat as well. So again, students can share their favorite books with others. You know, my next slide goes into how we take steps for a successful book club in our school. You want to introduce your club with the school flyer. You want to make sure you have a school flyer. Create your flyer. Hold on, I thought that was a link. I'm sorry, right here. So this is a flyer that I created. This is a new share, I guess, because you guys are still seeing the slides, right?
Nope, it's starting to pull up the flyer.
The flyer? Oh, great,
Yep.
great.
Yep.
Okay.
I think we're seeing the whole window. So whatever you're looking at, I think we're going to see.
Okay. Yeah, because this, I don't know. Yeah. Great. So you want to have what I did a combination of a flyer and a permission slip. Because the book club was after school hours on a Friday, I had to create a permission slip for the parents to give permission for the students to stay for 1 hour, just 1 hour. Also, now, since we're doing it at lunchtime, I really don't need the permission slip because they're in school, it's during school time. I don't know why this is not coming up. It's still white, right? Do you guys see a flyer?
No, it's still coming up white, but it'll get there.
I don't know why it's taking so long tonight. But so the flyer you want to include the location, the time, of the book club. Oh, here it is. It's coming. So I started off with a question: are you a bookworm? Of course. And basically, the club was open to grades 4 to 8. At the time that I created the flyer, I told them, different genres of books, literary works, social emotional titles, graphic novels, author study books, chapter novels, urban topic novels. I also put in there, let's read, let's chat, let's snack, because, students love snacks. So I just wanted them to know that it's not going to be an ordinarily a classroom setting. It's a relaxed setting, and they're willing, if they want to take, and they did, they took off their shoes, they were on the rug. I don't have bean bags or anything. I have chairs, but everyone was relaxed. Whatever made you feel relaxed, I'm with it. So I had an interest meeting first, and then you type in your date, your time. And then after that, at the interest meeting, I gave them the permission slip and had the parents, we did the interest meeting and had the parents sign allowing them to come to the interest meeting and be a part of the book club. Let me go back to, I'm trying to get this to move. That, you know how you have the bar at the bottom? Oh, I got it. Okay, got it. All right, I'm gonna go back to the slide. So you want to choose your students. There's a reading interest survey that I gave them because I just needed to know what they were interested in. You don't want to assume. So we have a survey here. We have a copy of a reading interest survey.
Kim, I was just realizing, if you want, I can take over the screen share, and I can, because I think my connection might be a little faster, and I'm that way.
Okay, yeah,
if
that's
you want.
great. Yeah,
Okay.
please. Yeah.
Then let me just grab this and bring it over
Do I need
here.
to stop sharing?
Yeah, if you'll stop, I will pick it up.
Okay.
And
Well, we'll take a
yes.
pause here for any questions or any thoughts or anything you guys want to add.
For that suggestion, but as Chrissy said, the first book is for, you need a certain percentage of your students to qualify for free or reduced lunch. So I think that's a beautiful program. My building does not, but thanks for letting me know. I'll absolutely share it with others. That's a great resource to have. But as is it Kara that said, I think, oh no, I don't know who said it, that the public library, I think a local library of mine also has book club sets. So, because right now my book clubs are small, we only just started, and we are using Battle of the Book collection. So I have 5 that I can use, but my principal's talking about ramping it up. She'd really like to see it get the groups get bigger. And I thought, well, now what do I do? So that's why I was like, well, let me find out what everybody's strategies are. So thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I was considering maybe starting kind of almost like we do here with BYOB, bring your own book. And rather than a book club that we're all reading the same book, bringing, I was thinking of trying to start actually even with staff in December, books are a gift that keep on giving kind of thing. And bring your own book, share the book, and then to give others ideas of what to read. But then I thought, I could probably even do that with the kids initially. And then maybe if I'm showing this interest, there would be some funding there. Although thankfully we do have some classroom sets that were actually bought for an ELA thing. They used to be in a book room, but then they got pushed on me. So I'm like, well, you know what, since they're in the library anyway, maybe I could use those. But even if it's, yeah, it's great if they can read the same book and they can discuss it, but what if it was just a theme? Bring your own book for this theme. What's your favorite, book for this?
That's awesome. I never thought of that, but you're right. We can do a theme, and then they can bring a book related to that theme, and we can still have discussions about it and everything. And then that coincides with, introducing new literature or new books to the students to each other and discussing, the types of books you like and why you like the book. And, it might spark in another student, oh, well, I might check out this book one day, or I might go and buy that book, to build their library at home. That's a great idea. Awesome. Thank you.
You could maybe even like tie that in like a book tasting and be like, the theme today is mysteries, and have a whole bunch ready to go and let them all
Yeah.
pick one and then
Right.
discuss that the following week, kind of like that's
Nice.
part of it. And the other half is discussing the book and the genres that you picked from the week prior.
Oh, wow. Wow. This is awesome. I've never thought of that, but thank you so much. I mean, like I said, this is my 3rd year and I'm still fishing for ideas. I mean, I went with what worked my first year, but each year I want to make it better and I want to do new and different things. So that's an awesome, great idea. But with the one book, it seems to be working right now, but again, I'm open to trying other things as well. Because it's so funny to see how they have a different perspective on the book. How each person, most people, they're like, well, I don't agree. And it goes into a debate sometimes. Well, I don't agree with you. She did this in the book, and I don't think that was appropriate. And then the other person says, well, why do you think that was inappropriate? It becomes a discussion, and that's what I want to see. I want to see that amongst them, because our students in our school, they're very quiet, and they don't express themselves. They're afraid to express themselves when they agree, when they have an opinion about something, especially in the classroom. So a lot of the teachers were telling me, Ms. Chapman, we're trying to get our students to talk more, to discuss more, so we know that they're understanding what they're learning, or just to get them to open up. So the book club allows them to open up. And most times I'm sitting back and I'm just listening. I'll post a question and they just take it from there. And I'm learning from them. They're learning from me. We're learning from each other, So, but that's a great idea. I'm going to keep that in mind about the theme. Maybe that's something I can do for next year, for the next school year. Any other questions? Or?
Is the screen sharing working right now?
Yes.
Are you guys able to see that? Okay. So
Okay.
do you want me to pull up the
you are on the surveys? Yes.
Yeah.
The second link. Yep, that one. So this is just, guys, a list of different surveys that you can use. That's edible, that you can use. You don't have to use them all. You know your students. So if we go to the second slide. So this is like a drag and drop. So you'll either agree or disagree. I am a good reader. I enjoy talking about books I've read. I read when I'm not in school. So it's a drag and drop. What I did was I printed this out and I cut the strips and I had them as a activity for the first day or interest meeting. I had them just to paste where it belongs on the chart. I printed it out for them because at the time, all of us didn't have a computer in the library at the time to use to be able to drag and drop. So we did it manually. We just took a strip and you put it under, whether you agree or you disagree. Next slide, please. So this or that. So they circled, which one do you prefer? And some of them preferred both. And I said, if you prefer both, it's okay. You can circle both. I like to read magical books, or I like to read realistic books. And some of them said, well, I like both. I said, well, circle both, So that's an easy one. The next one is reading habits, reading habits, it gets them thinking. What do you think when you hear that it's time for reading? Is this something I want to do? What is the easiest part of reading? What is the hardest part of reading? I mean, again, like I say, you know your students, you can pick and choose. You can do all of them if you want. Next slide, please. Reading goals, what is a goal you have for reading this year? What is one thing that you're excited about in reading this year? What do you think could help you become an even better reader? Next one, please. This one is the reading choices. Types of books you enjoy reading, the topics, the genres. Explain what you like about these types of books. Next one. And these are just quick responses. I like this one. What 2 to 3 words would you use to describe reading? If you could read about any topic or idea, what would it be? What is your favorite book? What is your favorite TV show? What is your favorite movie? If you can read a book about any person, who would it be? And the last slide says, my favorite book. So they get to tell the title, if they know the author, and a few lines of why this is your favorite book. So I had the students, thank you, Steve. I had the students not do all of them. I think I picked out 3 of those to have them to do. And I kept it in a little folder for each one of them, because sometimes during the book club, I give them a little activity. Like this past week, we're reading Invisible, the graphic novel. And I had them to compare and contrast Conrad Middle School to our school. And they was like, yeah, Conrad Middle School is similar to our school, but yet it's different. So I had them to put that down on paper. And I do little activities like that as well to keep in their folder. And at the end, when we do our final book club meeting, we always do a big party at the end. I give them their folder and they can look back and see, oh, wow, I really was into this book, what I wrote about this book, or what I found out about this book that we read, because the goal is to read at least as many books as possible. We're on slide number 5. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you go back to number 4? I just want to look at that last one. Yeah, it says, remember, we want to create a safe space, okay? We want a relaxed atmosphere for your students. I play soft background music when they come in, little jazz. Sometimes I play a little hip hop, depending on my mood, or what mood they're in. Light snacks, cozy setting. Again, I don't want it to look like or feel like I'm in another classroom at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I want it to feel like this is a place where I can let my hair down, I can relax, and I want to be here because it is a Friday. Well, at the time, it is a Friday afternoon. Everybody's ready. Even the teachers are ready to go home on a Friday afternoon. A lot of my colleagues, they said, Ms. Chapman, you're crazy. You're going to stay here on a Friday from 3 to 4. It's time to go home. I said, I know that, but my students are interested and they want to read. And that's what I'm all about, trying to promote reading for them or getting them interested in books. Once you establish a day, a time, and a place for your club, it can be in your library, it can be in a vacant classroom, wherever you think it will be a comfortable setting for your students. Number 5, please. And I'm going to end this up for the love of reading. That's why we do it. For the love of reading. More books, more books. I love ebooks. I listen to ebooks when I'm on the plane or laying in bed, but there's nothing like having a physical book. And that's what I explain to them. There's nothing like getting lost in those pages of that book. And that's what I try to encourage them. So I thank you guys for listening to me. And again, if you have any suggestions, questions, ideas, I see that we have some more slides. Someone added some information. Can you click on number 6 for me?
Can do. So as you were talking through, I love the way that your students are so engaged with your program. It's really amazing. Actually, before we go on, you've got some flyers that you put out. Are there any other things you do to sort of like market your program? Because clearly, if you've got a waiting list for kids, this is a very popular program.
Well, we have a Facebook page and we have a website. So I put it on the website, school website. I put it on the Facebook page, and really, I got to give it to the students. It was word of mouth from them. You know, they were just so excited coming from the book club, the first meeting. The other kids were like, what are you so happy about? What's going on? And they really promoted it. They really was like, oh my goodness, you got to come to the book club. We have fun there. They wanted to do it every day. I said, no, I can't do it every day, but I will give you every week. This was at the beginning. I said, I will give you every week, but I can't give you every day. I still have to do my other duties as well. But it really, I got to give it to I can't even take the credit. The kids were the ones that promoted it a lot, you know, and they were very interested. And
Well, I think that says a lot about you as a librarian, that they were having such a good time that this
Oh,
was something
yeah.
that they were talking up. So it's great that they were talking it up, but you clearly have a connection with these kids. That's really
Oh,
outstanding.
yeah. And they're so excited that they get to keep the book. Because they said, oh, we have to give the book back, right? No, it's your book. You're a part of the club. This is your book.
That's
You're
awesome.
starting your own library in your home. This is your book. So they love the idea that they get to keep the book. At the end of the year, I have a little award ceremony in the library. I make up little certificates, appreciation, participation certificates. We have food, we have music, and everybody gets to share how they felt about the book club. And yeah, so they look forward to that as well at the end. Yeah.
That's awesome. I bet you, man, I never thought about a book club that was giving the books away, but that's such a brilliant idea to have the kids, I mean, that much more connected and engaged. Wow.
Right.
I love it. And I bet you that's something like a PTO.
I want them to start a library. That's the goal too, you know.
Yeah,
Take these books and start your own little library in your home. So you have a selection of books that you can go back, especially if you enjoyed the book. I know when I enjoy a book, I read it 2 or 3 different times. Again, I go back to it again and read it again, you know.
absolutely. That's awesome. And I bet you that's something like if you didn't necessarily have the library budget for it, maybe a PTO or like a grant or something, you could get some kind of money to pay for that.
Our first year we received the grant. Our first year we did receive a grant, and the second year we did not, but the kids I did fundraising, like selling candy and things like that. But like I said, I had a budget and I worked within my budget, but if I needed extra, we had our fundraising money to add, you know, to get more books if we needed to, or more material.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. To go in a slightly different direction, but still sort of keeping with book clubs. This is absolutely not my idea. I heard this elsewhere, but every time people talk about book clubs, I always love this idea of doing a genre book club instead of doing a book focused book club, because with genre, it can be any book. Kids can bring whatever book they like, and they can self-level, they can find the book that works for them within the genre, but it still gives them that connection and that talking point of, here, you know, we're all interested in the same kinds of things, even if we're not necessarily reading the same book. And then you also get the great peer-to-peer recommendations that go on, like, oh, I read this, I really liked it, oh, let me read, oh, I brought it with me if you want to read a little bit of it, you know, like, or swapping books. Because I think so often we forget how much reading should be a social event. Like, especially in school, we tend to have sustained silent reading, but we don't have a lot of social connection reading. So I love the idea of book clubs, and I mean, I am very jealous of the program you have put together, Kim, and I am going to try and steal and replicate as much of that as I can, because it's amazing.
Awesome.
But yeah, so genre book club is where I probably see my first couple of book clubs going. I haven't had a chance to get them going yet, but I am very stoked about the idea. And you could, theoretically, you could have as many different genre book clubs as you wanted. And I was even thinking you could try and figure out some books that sort of straddle different genres to maybe bring a couple of different groups together that might not normally, read together, as a way to sort of get people to look at a genre they might not otherwise check out. So I don't know. There's lots of moving parts there, but I feel like there could be some fun things to do. So that was what I brought to the table. But then we've also got one here from Becky. Is Becky here? I think Becky is here. Yes, Becky, if you want, do you want to tell us about your book club info? No pressure if you don't want to. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Becky doesn't have a microphone. That's okay. So I'll read what Becky's got for us, just in case we're don't have a great view of it. Our book club meets every Thursday during lunches, freshmen, upperclassmen. It's very informal. We don't all read the same book. We just discuss what we're all reading. I love that too. That's a great idea. I provide cookies. Gotta love cookies. Book club is new at my school. Our librarian was new and had lots of great ideas, but due to circumstances, left about 8 weeks into the school year. Ooh, that's rough. I love book club and would like to keep it going. We have 3 core students and others pop in from time to time. Sometimes I sit with them and talk about what they're reading. Other times, one of our English teachers comes to help. Ooh, I love that too. And sometimes they just talk amongst themselves. Love the idea of getting other faculty or other staff involved and getting them to, even just getting the kids to see that reading is not just an English teacher thing or a library thing, that it's like everybody reads, everybody enjoys reading different kinds of stuff. Love that. Thank you, Becky. Appreciate you sharing. Kind of along those lines, I'll throw out one thing that is not quite book club, but sort of kind of. I love doing, I've got a newsletter that I put out every 2 weeks. And the second page is just a staff book recommendation and a student book recommendation. And I ask the kids and I send them an email to the staff and I say, look, this is not an English teacher thing. This isn't a school library thing. This doesn't even have to be for the kids necessarily, but what's a book you've liked? Because we want to really build our reading culture. And so having that staff recommendation there, and I actually have built in now a question that's what range would you say is the audience for this? Like middle school, high school, adult. And I include that in the write-up. So it's got the teacher's name and their grade and subject. And then this is the audience for this is, and then whatever the person had to say about it. And then I try and get a little summary in there. If it's something we have in the library, all the better. I'll put a link right to our catalog. The student stuff is often stuff from our library, which is great. And again, put the link right to the catalog, but having the kids engage with sharing their ideas. They love to share their ideas for books that they've loved, and getting to see, like today's newsletter or the one I was working on today, the next recommendation is from a math teacher. How often do you get math teachers involved in reading? But it's so easy to get them to just say, here's a book I liked. And I would love the idea of inviting them in. Like I could totally see Kim's students hanging out, reading their book. And then the math teacher walks in or the science teacher walks in and starts talking about the book that they like. Little brains exploding all over the place. I could just picture it. It's amazing. Sorry, I get going sometimes.
Okay.
And Beth Raff says, this is not exactly a book club, but I was listening to Amy Herman's podcast and a guest talked about hosting book launch parties. I'm thinking of doing this with my public librarian on the February launch of Amulet 9. Interesting. I like that.
This woman, I think she was in California. It sounded like it was an area where there was some money. And she got like people to donate books. I forget even what book launch it was for. And then they, they'd have an event where they would do activities related to the book. And she's just been doing this repeatedly with a lot of success. And so many of my students keep asking me when the Amulet book is coming. And, I've been doing some research, and then I thought, well, this might be good cross-programming with my public librarian, because maybe we can do it as a school event at the public library, a way to draw the kids over there and use some of their resources, their money, to do like trivia. I know for Amulet, the website has coloring pages. I haven't even read it, I'm ashamed to say, but I will be reading it this weekend. And And I don't know, I think it's just another way to get kids excited about reading. And, you know, if I can either maybe do, you know, if kids want to pre-order, if I could get an indie like Curious Reader or someone to offer a pre-order, you know, that would be a bonus, because I can't even buy the book for my library unless I buy it, because I have no budget at that time. But anyway.
I don't know if it was the same episode of podcast or not, but there was also one that I heard on Amy Herman. Somebody was saying that they would do a kind of like a sign-up board almost for upcoming books. And they would kind of like do a little research and say, okay, I know that these are books that are coming out soon. I'll make copies of the covers and put them up, and the kids can like sign up for if they would want to read it if they got a copy. And so she used that both as a way to sort of draw interest and attention, but also as a way to get a sense of how many copies of this do I need to order? Do I need to order any? Like if nobody says that they want it, great, I can skip that one. But if 100 kids sign up for this one book, I know I'm going to have to get a bunch of copies. And that way you don't end up necessarily ordering things you don't need or that aren't going to get circulated, which I thought was a really brilliant idea.
It was the same episode, Steve. I've been
Okay.
trying to find it. It's the same librarian, and I sadly can't think of her name. I'll have to go back and email it to you, but that's exactly it.
I loved that idea too. Affordable books and book banks, Google First Book Marketplace. Great, Kim. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And then there's another one called, I'm sorry, there's another one called Thrift Books. Thrift Books. They don't come in bulk, but they have very affordable. Most of their books are like $3. They're slightly used. The newer ones, the ones they have that aren't really used, the most you're going to pay is maybe $10 for the book. But the slightly used, they're in good condition. They're still in good condition, and you're spending anywhere from $3 to $5 a book. And I'm talking about like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, you know, books like that cost, you know, money. But Thrift Books is also another outlet too. But if you want the bulk, you would go to First Book Marketplace.
I think Thrift Books, you might be able to get multiple copies. I don't know if you can get a ton of the same book, but you could probably get like 3, 4, 5 copies maybe.
Yeah.
If you were doing smaller groups or something. But yeah, I love Thrift Books. I have given them way too much of my money.
I know, me too. And they're always popping up with deals. And I'm like, I just spent money. I don't want to spend anymore.
I was actually just putting stuff in my first book cart right now as we're talking. But I also spend money. I don't know if any of you have Ollie's Bargain Outlet in your area. So Ollie's is like good stuff cheap. Ollie's is basically all like stuff that has been, you know, marked down or whatever. Like stores can't sell it, not that they can't sell it, but they have overstock of it. So basically Ollie's buys it at like auction. So it'll be like some of these books will still have the Target label or Walmart label on them and their price, and then it'll have the Ollie's price, which is like $3 for a book. Unfortunately, because it's not like a vendor and I'm not placing an order, I'm spending my own money when I go there, which I constantly do, but I do get a lot of good books there cheap. And it also does work out for us. Like when we have the book fair and stuff, sometimes our PTO will go there just to get more bargain books, because I feel like we don't get enough bargain books for the fact that, you know, we're a Title I school, and a lot of the kids just can't afford, you know, a full price book, even from Scholastic. But speaking of things that are free and not spending money for books, I saw a lot of people chatting about like the public library in there. And I did want to just throw out there, as a former public librarian, don't discount it if it's not your library system. Even if it's not your library system, you might still qualify for a card depending on if you work in the area, even if you don't live there, or vice versa, you know, depending on where you live and work. Also, some of them have reciprocal lending privileges because maybe of how their schools work out. So like for Mercer County, West Windsor Plainsboro is part of Plainsboro and West Windsor, which is in Mercer County. So if you have a Mercer County library card, you qualify for a Plainsboro library card because we share a school in the district. Then there's also a lot of people don't realize you can buy a library card pretty much to any library. You just go, and usually it's about $75 or something, but for a year, and especially if you can get your PTO to fund that for you or help you out in some way. Because I know like our library system, they have book club in a bag, but only adult books. They don't have them for younger kids. And so that's frustrating. But I know like Burlington has them or Monmouth County has them. So again, if I want to go and spend the, $75 or $100 for a year membership, I can use their resources too. So like, don't just be like, oh, too bad I don't live there. There is still a chance, and they'd probably be happy to have you.
I will say that Monmouth County and Ocean County do have some reciprocity with their libraries. I still buy an Ocean County library card because they have Hoopla, which is an awesome online ebook and audiobook and video service.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Hoopla has some of the best graphic novel collections I've ever
Yes.
seen. So if you like graphic novels, I have saved easily over $100 on the graphic novels I have read through Hoopla through Ocean County. So it was absolutely worth it to spend that money. Plus we like to support the library, so it works out that way too.
I'm actually going to say something about Hoopla. I'm always trying to push it on my teachers because you can show the book on your screen. Like, like you don't need to worry about it's already a slideshow. It's already there. And now I'm going to be like horrible librarian here as I tell you how I completely ignore copyright by screenshotting it. And I keep the pictures from the book and I turn it into a Google slideshow. I'm not sharing it with anyone. I'm not giving it. I'm using it in classrooms. So I feel like there's some fair use there. But technically, I am screenshotting a ebook to use. So the recording now.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback off of the Hoopla. It is really good. I work for the Jersey City Public Library as well, part-time. I've been there 6 years. So partially the reason I became a school librarian, it sparked my interest. But we use Hoopla as well. And I use it all the time in my library. I really do. It's great. Music, videos, books, ebooks, it's just great. And I'm like you, I tell the teachers about it as well. Chrissy, I tell the teachers, but they no, it's good, it's free.
I get more people on board when I describe it as Netflix for libraries.
Yes.
And
that's
so that's how I
exactly what
describe it.
is.
And then I also do that SpongeBob episode. I'm like, hoopla. But anyway, if you haven't seen that episode, it's a thing. But
I know, Chrissy, that you are only kidding about breaking copyright law on this recording of this video that we are making, because I know that a good librarian would never do that. And it was purely
I would
a joke.
never share it. I would never
No.
share it out, never anything like that. But using it in the classroom, because I don't know how your Hoopla works I'm sure it's the same. I can only have it out sometimes, especially if it's a ebook or a read aloud or something like that. Some of them are only 3 days. I teach 5 days worth of classes back to back. And so it becomes an issue that I need it for those next 2 days. And I'm limited to 5 checkouts a month. And because the way my county did it, depending on the time of day, if they're all used up for the day, I can't get another book that day. And so then what happens if I'm here on Thursday and I can't get the book anymore that's in my lesson plan I'm supposed to be using? So that's why I do screenshot it and save it for myself. I don't share it on Google Classroom. I don't share it even with other teachers. I don't share it, but I keep it for myself because it could impact my lessons for the rest of the week if all of a sudden I can't access it anymore. Or if the internet's down.
I will also say that the Internet Archive has I think they call it the Open Library or the Internet Library, something like that. And they have some titles that they do lend out. You can sign up for a library card for free. They scan physical copies of books, and the idea is to make an archive of all the print material that they can. But they make it available on a sort of a library basis, and they don't have, their selection is a little eclectic, but they do have some stuff that can be kind of useful, and it's all right there digital. You can check it out and have it for, I think it's 2 weeks at a time, and then you can take it out again if you want it some more. But I was doing that for a class that I was teaching a couple of years ago, and it was just really handy to have. We had copies of the physical book, but being able to project it up on the screen while we were all talking about the same, because it was Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics. And so we were talking about like panels of comics. And so to be able to project it up on the screen so we can all look at and talk about the same thing at the same time was really handy to go along with the physical copies that we had. But that may be another resource that's worth checking out too for $0. It's not too bad.
Well, that's my thing, is that I do, even of my books I share, like as long as it's not a chapter book, like if it's a, you know, any kind of picture book or something, I'm looking at all the books behind me. I make a Google slideshow of everything I read, just so it's up there, because I don't have an Elmo near me where I teach, like my actual lesson area. It's on a cart and it's a whole ordeal to bring it out. So I always make it a Google slideshow so the kids can see it better. But also, so for my special ed classes or my bilingual classes, I follow it along with the cursor, like it's a read, you know, like it's a sing along. Like I make sure my cursor is going along with the words.
Right.
So they're just reinforcing that. But also thinking of First Book also gives you free access to openebooks.net.
Yes.
And now they're available on Chromebooks too. Before they didn't have an
Yeah.
app for Chromebooks.
Yeah.
And so that's why I never pushed it in our school, because the kids, they could read it at home on a tablet if they had one or on their parents' phone. But you can now, it works on Chromebooks. And one code for one student is good up to 5 or 6 devices. So their
Yeah.
whole family can use it for free.
Yep. Yeah. First Book is the way to go. They really like cater to the educators. It's a great website. I mean, yeah. Yep.
Another
it.
group worth mentioning, it's not really to get as much multiple books, but and I know it's if you're not South Jersey, it's a hike for some of you more North Jersey people, but is the Book Smiles company. I'm fortunate because I live down in Burlington and he's in Pennsauken, but it's like $25 for the year, and you can go as a teacher, librarian, or even just a regular classroom teacher. You can go and pick out as many times as you want books from them, and a lot of them are new, like donated to them, but then there's ones that are gently used, and there's nothing that when I was there was nothing there that really looked overly used. So that's another good thing that's happening in New Jersey.
I think
Awesome.
they are pretty selective about what they take as donations.
They are. I mean, I know I'm involved in the Camden County group down there for the librarians group. And so he gave us a tour, and he was saying that a lot of things he takes, and he knows like certain people in the area that will trade, you know, and give him a profit for certain things. So it's this whole, it was kind of amazing to listen to how because he was actually a teacher in Camden County and is retired now. And then he has turned it into this whole great big business. So it was very, very interesting that somebody was able to do that and turn something into that.
Their area booth at NJEA was amazing. They were giving away brand new stacks and stacks of banned books, and it was just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I managed to get a couple of
At
things.
NJEA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
a couple. Yeah, I was there. They were giving away nice books.
Yeah.
The
All right,
warehouse
well-
is incredible. If you ever got an opportunity, like I said, I know if you're in North Jersey, it's tough, but it's worth the drive.
What's the name of it?
It's
The
called
Book
Book
Smile.
Smiles. It's actually in Pennsauken, New
Okay.
Jersey, which Camden County, right outside of Philly.
Okay. Thank you.
See if I can get that
Sure.
on my next day off, take a little trip. Love it. So anybody else have anything about book clubs they want to throw out as a last thought or idea? I feel like we've got some really great ideas here. I really appreciate everything everybody shared. Any
Can I
last
just ask if
ideas?
anyone that has a staff book club at their school or anything, or has ever done a teacher's book club? You have one, Beth? Oh. So I want to start that this year, just because I'm trying to just I feel like a lot of the teachers aren't interested in books enough, you know, honestly. And I feel like it kind of has to come from above, especially because I love to get them reading a graphic novel because they're so like anti-graphic novel. And so I'm just wondering if anyone can give any input on that and like how they started it, or do they meet before school, after school? Do they meet on school premises or do they meet like somewhere else?
We've had administrators start book clubs for faculty, and they have set it up so that it would basically be professional development time for, I think they gave them a certain amount of reading time and then a certain amount of getting together and talking about the book time. And those tended to be for professionally oriented books. I haven't seen in my district a just for fun book club, which I really think would be a wonderful thing. But I did have a teacher the other day ask me for, I can't think of the name of the book now, but there's a graphic novel that came out not too long ago about, I can't remember what it is now. I'll have to find it. But she asked me if we had any copies, and I didn't. So I was looking it up to try and find out about it. And I sent her to the public library to get a copy. But yeah, I'm hoping that we can get something like that at some point going on.
Yeah, that'd be great. That sounds great. The only thing I did, as far as the staff, when we had our book fair, I got them to come and do a sneak peek before the kids came and looked at the book fair. I gave them the opportunity to come and maybe pick out books for their classroom, and they bought books on their own, and they received a PD hour. They received a certificate for 1 hour for a 30-minute PD, you know. So that got them out looking at books. But I like the idea of a staff book club. That would be cool.
We
Becky
did,
said, oops, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, we did in, last year, I started a cart in the main lobby. We moved it from the teacher's room into the lobby because everybody's walking past the, like the free little library for teachers.
Yeah.
And then we did a blind date with the book where you had to wrap it and then write like just a couple of words on the front. And that kind of sparked a couple like little, well, I read it in like a little coffee clutch sharing,
Right.
but nothing formal, which was nice.
Yeah, I have
And-
one too. I have one too, and it's just like a very small group of us. Unfortunately, two people got transferred out of the building, so we meet after school at like a Panera, probably every 6 weeks or so. And it's small, and but it's something. I did this in my other district where I worked, and we had like 15 people, and that group still
Wow.
meets, and I still go back and join them, and it's probably going on 10 years now.
Wow.
So that was just, we clicked.
You just went into mute.
You went into
I've
mute.
also kept books, like Kara said, where I bring in books that I've read and leave them on a shelf behind the desk. And there are a few people that come and regularly chat there. And I've done at the end of the school year, I kind of put together a summer reads for adults flyer. And that gets a lot of people talking. Yeah, it's hard for them to commit, the classroom teachers to
Yeah.
commit during the school year, but they really liked the summer one, and I raffled off a book in that one.
Nice.
Becky said in the chat, we have one we meet once a month during both lunches. Again, this was something the new librarian started. We're struggling a little since she left, but I'm hoping to rebound next semester. She says, our genre is humor next time. Suggestions are welcome. So Becky, I'm not quite sure what level of book you're looking for, but I will throw out two that literally made me laugh so much that my wife said I couldn't read them at night because I was keeping her up because I was laughing too loud. One is The Humiliations of Pippi McGee by Beth Vrabel, Vrabel. It's a middle grades book, but it is hilarious about this girl who every year in the first couple of days of school, something incredibly humiliating happens to her from kindergarten up through 8th grade. And so it's the beginning of 8th grade. And she's like, okay, this is the year, nothing embarrassing is going to happen. And then literally 5 minutes into the 8th grade year, something incredibly embarrassing happens. And so she has built up this very humorous way of looking at it all and sort of dealing with it all. And I absolutely loved the book. And then the other one I would throw out, this one's YA. It's Rain and Delilah's Midnight Matinee by Jeff Zentner. Again, so funny. These two high school girls are getting ready to graduate. They're going to be going in very different directions after high school. In high school, they have been doing this public access TV show that is about, they play really bad old movies and they make fun of them, kind of like a Sven Gulli sort of a thing. And so they've got these stage personas and stuff, and they love doing this. And one girl loves it so much that she wants to keep doing this as maybe her thing after high school. And the other one wants to go off and become a real broadcaster. So she's going to leave. And so it's them kind of trying to deal with that. But their banter back and forth is so funny. I was just on the floor laughing. So I don't know if those are going to hit what you're looking for, but two humor books that I really enjoyed.
Awesome.
Well, that is an hour. We've been just chatting it away here. I love it. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. We have such
you,
great
guys.
ideas.
Thank you. I'm
Yes.
so nervous, but thank you.
You did a great job, Kim.
You did a great
Really
job,
good.
Kim.
You and I hope I helped you guys get some ideas, and you guys gave me ideas. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Very, very much. And hopefully we'll see you at our next PD, which is going to be on the 11th of December, where we're going to have Library Link New Jersey talking to us with some intro and general information. And then in January, we're going to have an AI in education event, which we're going to get some more information about soon. So hopefully we'll see you again, and you'll get an email in the not too distant future with a link to get the PD certificate for tonight. So thank you all so much.
Before you go,
Yes,
NJ, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
NJASL, not NJASL, NJEA. I'm trying to think. Pelosi from William Patterson. I had an EDI meeting, EDI committee.
Oh, yeah.
She's gonna reach out to you, because I was telling them that we are looking for subjects or topics for professional development. So they want to do something on diversity, diverse books. So
Absolutely.
she's gonna reach out to you soon. Okay.
Awesome. I love it. That's
right.
great. Thank you.
You're
So we've got another upcoming event.
welcome.
All right, everybody. Have a great night,
Have a
and
good
hopefully we'll
night.
see you in
Thank
NJASL.
you.